Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to talk to you why I believe the President Donald Trump is awesome. Now, at first you may be like, whether if you support him, then you'd be like, hell yeah, he is. Or if you really don't like him, you'd be like, you're crazy. It's like the flame war begins. But let me explain why I'm saying this. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe if you like this content I'm creating. And check out my other videos for all sorts of financial information that'll help save you a ton of money and personal development ideas, concepts, and techniques that will not only save you money, but will also bring more happiness into your life, will bring more money into your life. And I'm going to get right into it. You see, the President Trump is awesome because he does one thing that no one can question him on. And while I personally don't believe he does, most of his decisions are not what I would do, what he is he's true to himself. And you may not like who that is, but there's no denying it. He shoots off his mouth, he says the most crazy things. If, if this was, say, him fronting it like most politicians do, then this has got to be the strangest fronting you'd ever see in politics, honestly. Because he will shoot his mouth off in the middle of the night, and by morning he's trying to deny what he said. But everyone knows at this point that Trump is kind of a bit crazy, unstable even. But, that's him. And he's pretty comfortable with himself. There's no questions about that. And that for that reason only am I saying he's awesome. Because society as a whole is so afraid to be themselves, but they're dying to be themselves at the same time, which creates massive conflict and suffering everywhere. It's like, have you ever wanted to do something so badly, but you kept holding yourself back for whatever your reason was, and that resistance inside just builds and builds and builds and builds until you literally cannot take it any longer, and you have to soothe yourself either by doing what it is that you wanted to do in the first place, or by coping in some other manner. Maybe that's drinking, maybe that's smoking, maybe that's sex, maybe that's, spending money, maybe it's, just dedicating yourself to work, whatever it is. People are just so damn afraid to be themselves. They're so afraid to be vulnerable. And believe me, I understand it. I mean, it's scary. It really is. I still kind of struggle with that, no doubt about it. But you don't have to complete the race in order to get the benefits. If that metaphor makes any sense to you. You see, you don't have to be 100% authentic in order to, reap most of the benefits. All you need to do is be mostly authentic, mostly who you are. And then that way you can end the suffering and end the self-destruction that you're going to go through when you're like, fighting against yourself. So, but Trump, for all his many issues and many questionable actions and what he says and all that stuff, he definitely is himself. There's no questions about that. I mean, he is an extreme, intense person, and that's who he is. That's him in his natural state. He's a very, very intense person. Yeah, he's pretty smart too. I mean, you don't get that far without having some kind of like intelligence about you, but he's an intense person. He is prone to a lot of different, complicated patterns, and he embraces it rather than fight it. Maybe if nothing else, they should take like note of that, because when you embrace yourself, you live a better life. Now, maybe most people aren't going to like you. Believe me, I know. Most people don't like me, and that's the truth. Most people in day-to-day life, they really don't like me. Whether I'm reminding them about like their own issues, or they don't like that I'm pursuing my own, goals and or whatever the case may be. Um, Most people aren't going to like me. Most people don't like me. And most people probably aren't going to like you either. And it doesn't matter because as long as I like me, as long as I am my own, biggest cheerleader, that's what really matters. You see, without that, you're suffering. With that, life gets much, much, much better. It gets so much better that there's no reference experience for it. There's no point that I could point back at really and say, hey, remember when you were like this? And this is what it's like. Because it's a total game changer in every sense of the word. Because for our entire lives in this conditioned system, which we call society, we learn to suppress ourselves. We learn that it's not okay to be us, that we must appease other people. We must do what people with titles tell us. We must do what, the teachers want us to do. We must do what our employers want us to do. We must do everything that everyone else wants us to do but what we want to do. We can't do what we want to do. And that's completely backwards. Do what you want first. Pay yourself first. Just like the president does. He does what he wants first. Always. Even if people scream and yell and call him every name in the book. Which they do. But, you know, it's still a better life. It's still a better life to be true to yourself than it is to try and make other people happy by suppressing yourself. So, learn from our president, because in that one regard, and I'm not even going to put anything else up there, that one regard, he is pretty awesome. And for that one thing, I got to look up to him, because that's an example of someone who is absolutely true to themselves, authentic in their own extremism. So, until the next time, I will talk to you later.